What is up, guys? Yet another episode. I feel like this one's probably going to be the last one for a little while. It's just a lot of work things going on and life things as it happens. Plus trying to get schedules around and get people to be on. This has turned from a podcast into just a me talking and reviewing body camera. So I may just be doing videos in that format rather than doing a podcast. Um, it was fun to try out, have some fun with it. But we'll see. I may do the occasional episode here and there in the future. Um, but for the most part, it's probably just gonna be me making videos. I also want to try and get back to you guys have probably noticed my YouTube channel name, Fungus Among Us. It started out as like a gaming thing since people tend to enjoy watching that quite often. So I may be doing some more of that, streaming some stuff. I've been going back through Fallout 4, with the Fallout series coming out and everything. Um, Fun fact, it is like my favorite game series. I actually have a Fallout. I have a Nuka girl riding a mini nuke tattoo on my leg, and so that is one of my favorite game series of all time. I absolutely love it. Love the lore and the story telling behind it. So I may dip into more of that type of thing. Also, just kind of the climate that we're in today with people not enjoying police officers as much has brought a lot of like backlash and comments and things that I just would rather not deal with, and I'd rather do something um, more neutral if I can. But that's not going to stop us today, now is it? So today, of course, we're going to do some more body cam reviews. The first one I have is actually going to start out with a 911 call to kind of set it up. So I kind of like I picked this one because it has 911 call involved in it and is kind of a good representation of things that we deal with all the time. And we'll jump right into it. Let's get started. Actually, but I hope you guys are doing okay today. Hope it's going all right. Get this set up to where I can stream that properly. So this is going to start out with the 911 call. I'll go ahead and let it play, and then I'll review the 911 call before we get into the actual officer interaction.
911, where's your emergency?
I'm at Kent State University. I need to get into my building, please.
Okay, is this an emergency? Can you look up the...
I know I'm already pausing. Um, Midwest Safety Guys. Of course, go like, subscribe to their channel. They're always putting out good stuff. Also, if you watch their videos completely, the officer that does these videos has some really professional what would you call it, like an epilogue or a professional like debriefing at the end of all of his videos that uh kind of explains thought process and stuff.
Non-emergency number?
I need to get into my building, please.
Okay, I need you to look up the non-emergency number and contact the Kent State University Police
I need
Department.
to get into my building, please.
You need to contact the Kent State University Police Department. This is not an
What is
emergency.
it? What is it? I need
You're
to
going to
get
need
into
to
my
look it up, ma'am. I'm going to
I
let
don't
you
know
go.
what it
After the college professor repeatedly abused.
So this goes a couple different ways. Uh, Me working at a, I would say small to mid-size department. If they're tying up 911 like that, honestly, to me, especially since a lot of times it's just me in the center and no one else, it's easier sometimes to just deal with it then and there or put her on hold rather than having her contact the non-emergency line, because in a small to mid-sized department, I'm also going to be answering the non-emergency line. Larger areas may have different non-emergency lines. Like this, the university police non-emergency line would be directly to university police, which would have the ability to take care of some of these things for, rather than like let's say us. We do have a college in our area that's actually outside of the city limits, but that's also why like I would have to either transfer you to the appropriate agency, or you're gonna have to look up the number for university police, because They're the ones with the keys. We can't help you. Like, we can't help you. And instead of playing a literal game of telephone and me taking the call, but then calling this other agency to call another agency or to call their officers to handle this issue, it'd be easier if you just contact them directly. But it is what it is. When you get non-emergency calls like this on 911, it does tie up emergency lines. You have a set amount of lines. I'm sure large agencies have tons of line space, because they get all kinds of calls at the same time. For us, we have, I believe it's 4 spaces. So after we have 4 continuously open 911 calls, it'll roll over onto our main phones. And so you're just taking up space on that 911 line that could be used for someone with another actual crazy emergency. So if you have the chance and it's something like you need a door unlocked or something like that, please call the non-emergency line. Also, keep in mind, this is like a university door, but keep in mind a lot of people do call for keys locked in their car. If like a child or pet are locked in the car, of course we'll help you out in any way we can. But in general, we're not just going to do it because it does carry a lot of liability. And the fact that not all officers have the tools. Also, not all officers are proficient in that. In that, if they come out and help you, they may scratch your car up a little bit or something because that's not something they do. That's not in their skill set. That's not something they do every day. It's more suited to a locksmith, right? So if they come and try and pop a door for you, there may be some damage. Also, you get into these newer vehicles, that's not as easy as just popping up a latch on the inside of the door. Um, there's a lot of electronics and things involved. So it carries a lot of liability for the city and for the department. So a lot of departments don't actually do that anymore. And if there's a child or a dog locked in the car, for sure, they're going to maybe either have a set of emergency tools for something like that, or they're just straight up going to break a window if it's necessary. So just keep that in mind if you ever have to call them for anything like that. Um, Back to my original point. So on this call, since she was very insistent on asking and keeping that line open, I probably would have just handled it then and there. And the fact that it would have been easier instead of arguing back and forth to be like, okay, what building are you at? Okay, I have an officer come meet you, and that's it. That's the end of call, basically. You're not having to gather like suspect descriptions or clothing descriptions of suspects or if there's weapons involved, anything like that. They just need a door unlocked. So it'd be easier to handle it, deal with it as quick as you can, and get that line free rather than sitting there and arguing. But hey, some centers have their certain policies where they have to do what they got to do, right? So we'll get into it. This is where the officer is making contact.
Is 911, demanding an officer. She eventually gets her way.
I'm the school director of the School of Health Sciences. I'll show you my driver's license, which is in the car. Can you get me into the building, please, so I can go pee?
Sure. Do you have anything to drink today?
I had a drink.
You had a drink?
A drink.
Okay. Because I can smell a little bit of alcohol on
You
you.
can smell a little bit of alcohol. That's fine. You can.
Okay. 328. I'll take
Instantly
it back.
kind of annoyed,
I had a
confrontational.
drink in my colleague's office. That's fine.
In your colleague's office? Where was that at?
In the annex.
Okay. How'd you get over here?
I walked.
You walked over here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'd like to give you a couple tests just to make sure you're good to go because I don't want you driving if you've been drinking.
Sir, I'm fine.
Okay. Well, I can smell it on you and you're not able to use a card to swipe into the door. So it's
Sir,
a little...
this is not working. This is not working. Can I go pee, please?
Well, here's what I'm saying. You're trying to swipe 2 cards at the same time, which kind of shows me that you're lacking some motor functions. I wouldn't want you to...
Can I go pee? Can I pee, please? Please?
Yeah, here, I'll let you in to pee real quick,
She's
and then
just
we'll
kind of
talk, okay?
stuttering and slurring her words a little bit.
Do you have someone you could call?
My husband.
Okay. Do you want to go pee first and start working on calling him?
No, I don't. This is not okay.
What's not okay?
That you're going to call my husband.
No, you're going to call him.
I'm fine.
I don't think you're okay to drive.
I think I'm okay to drive. I have a Tesla. Sorry.
Just because you have a Tesla doesn't
So
mean it's
this
not
is
going to
where
drive.
her argument spirals into, well, I have a Tesla. It's self-driving. It's fine. I'm not drinking and driving. I'm drinking and riding. Um, Yeah, this goes a little far. This is an argument that a lot of people bring up in the fact that, especially with some of my recent comments and everything. Well, what authority did the police have? She's not even driving. She's not even in her vehicle. Why are you asking all these questions? Why are you getting into her business? Would you rather the officer wait until she drives? What's the point of that? This is saving, well, at this point, if she would have said, yeah, sure, I'll call, that would have saved charges. That would have saved possibly someone else on the road. And like, hey, you've been drinking, that's fine, that's cool, whatever, do what you gotta do, but don't drive. Why would you not avoid all of the consequences of your actions by just being like, yeah, sure, I'll see if I can call someone to come pick me up? Here's the thing: if you're also cooperative, and yeah, I'll call someone to come pick me up, and you call someone and you tell the officer, yeah, they're on the way. I'm not saying to do this, right? Because it's irresponsible to drink and drive. But if you're nice and respectful and you let the officer know, yeah, I got someone on the way, you know, a lot of officers may have other calls to get to. They'll be like, okay, cool, just wait for your ride, and they'll take off, right? So you would have been absolved of the officer anyway. But I don't get it. People get upset when officers do this or do too much. But man, the amount of drunk driving accidents in this world, it's just saving a whole lot of trouble just trying to get someone there to help
Sir,
them.
I'm going to call your captain in a minute.
That's fine. You're not going to drive out of here.
You're not going to be okay.
Another unfortunate part about this is the fact that, well, unfortunately, there are a lot of departments in this country, and any officer will tell you this. I mean, not every officer is a good officer or a good person, right? We've all had some kind of experience before. I mean, a lot of people have. Even myself, I've had an experience where an officer pulled me over and was like sidestepping to my car and unholstering his weapon for no reason. I mean, there was no crime in the area that, matched my vehicle's description, nothing like that. Um, I was young, and if I would have had a little bit of a different mind, if it would have been me today that happened to, I definitely would have called that department and complained and went through that process. And if that didn't work, I would have gone to like the Rangers or whoever I needed to go to get that solved. I probably would have had a good lawsuit on my hands as well. But either way, stay respectful the whole time and get your money later. But um, wow, I am spiraling for some reason. Uh, what I was gonna say, this person is the director of health sciences at this college. Um, so a higher up position. If it is a smaller area, like such as mine, the problem you can get into is some departments are more political than they want to be. Like the officers are just trying to work and do everything proper. I could see where some departments in this instance would, as soon as the officer makes contact, and if she calls whoever she calls, that officer would be told, "Hey, just leave her alone. Just walk away. Don't do." Because for some reason, in some towns in this country, like city councils, county commissioners, county judges, whoever, have a lot of influence to where they can influence things like that, and where officers can't do their jobs properly, and then it gets a bad name for the department for being crooked and all that. It just
Is
spirals
there
into a
a
whole nother
bathroom
thing.
back here you're using?
I'm sorry? I don't believe you.
Again,
It's
I
100.
skip through some of these videos so that way I avoid issue, or not avoid issues, but I
Before
want
I
you
go.
guys to go watch these channels videos. They've put the effort in. They've made these videos. Um, body camera footage is not copyrightable, of course. Like I can watch it if I want to and share it on my channel here. However, come on, guys, just go support them. Watch the whole video. I'll do my commentary.
I said, no, you
So we
need
have
to call
another
somebody.
officer
So,
showing up. Can I
you
help
know,
out?
no, you're not driving home.
Okay. Tesla's gonna drive around.
Yeah, I was like, just because it's a Tesla doesn't mean it's going to drive itself home.
Even if it is one of the self-driving models, you can't.
OVI laws are not caught up to that.
Right.
Where'd you get drunk?
That's a good point that the officer brought up. They call it OVI wherever they are. Um, like DWI, DUI in Texas. Um, the laws do kind of need to update for that. And I believe some states have updated them at this point, but laws have not caught up to the self-driving vehicles and different vehicle types that are coming into play in recent years, where there's a lot of self-driving vehicles or assisted driving vehicles at the very least. And so laws need to catch up to that and set a precedent for like DWI, DUI under those situations. Because even my vehicle, it's a 2025 Subaru, a Subaru, and it has an assisted driving feature where if I put it on cruise, I can set how close I want it to follow to the other vehicle. If I want to change lanes, I just hit the blinker. I don't actually have to turn the wheel, and it stays in between the lines, and it does a very good job of it. It also has crash detection, so that way, if someone all of a sudden decides they don't want to use a blinker, but they're going to turn now, and they hit their brakes, it'll brake. It'll do whatever emergency maneuver it needs to do. I don't use it that often because I like driving, um, but I do use it every so often. I mean, it's pretty neat, but the laws do need to catch up
So where
to
all of her
that
stuff?
She's in
technology.
her colleague's office at the annex.
I mean, unless she's calling out the window. I mean, the window, there's definitely windows right there. I can see her in her office.
If it gets that, I'm just going to take her for
right now.
bucks.
I'm going to call Gabby. You're harassing me right now. I don't appreciate it.
No, I'm just making sure you get home okay.
I'm going to be okay.
Okay.
Can't leave
Well,
me
I just need to make sure you call somebody here because I don't want you driving home.
I'm going to call Captain Getman from Kent.
Who's that?
The captain of Kent, if you don't leave me alone.
What's his name?
Captain Getman of Kent. I'm going to go to the bathroom, and you're going to leave me alone.
I'm just going to give Mike a call real quick and just let her know what's going on.
Go in the bathroom, and you're going to leave me alone. It's out there.
Okay, but you're not going to...
Home, and you're going to
Here, if you have water in
Something
your car,
mentioned- she keeps mentioning Captain Gitman. The officers mentioned in this video that's not even a real captain at their department. Like that's not a thing. In some departments, you know, they're depending on their rank structure. Like someone the other day was asking for the captain at my department. I'm like, we don't have a captain. Our rank structure does not have captain in it. It, you know, officer, corporal, sergeant, lieutenant, chief. Like the lieutenants are over the different divisions and stuff. We don't have a captain or assistant chief at the moment. Like it's just, we don't have that.
You're in
husband
Toxo.
is in Shaker, and he had surgery, and I'm fine.
Ma'am, I understand that.
Do you want me to walk? I'll walk. Walk.
Nope.
No, you're going to leave me alone.
She's
My
getting
husband
upset.
just had surgery, and I'm driving.
You can tell she's slurring her words. Pay attention to like her facial features here too. It's hard to tell. You know, some people's faces just be built different. Maybe a little bit of eye droop there, a little bit eye mouth droop, which uh in some people, you know, with intoxication or alcohol present, it can present that way. Um, or you know, it could be a stroke. Who knows?
Okay.
Sir, you're going to leave me alone. Do you want me to take a breathalyzer? I'll do that for you.
Nope, don't have one.
Okay. Breathalyzer. A lot of departments now are getting away from those. We don't carry them in our vehicles at my department. They've been found to be rather unreliable. So with intoxication, a lot of times, well, and now they ask for consent for a blood alcohol test, or they'll get a warrant for a blood alcohol test, along with the standard field sobriety tests. Again, the officer's not going to do that here because she's not driving. He's trying to prevent that from becoming an issue. He's trying to say, hey, I'm seeing some signs. Why don't you call someone to help you out and pick you up? That's all we're trying to do.
I'm fine. You have no right to not let me drive home.
Actually, it is our job to not let you drive home if you're intoxicated.
I'm not
It's
intoxicated.
literally our job.
Okay, you are going to leave me alone.
Feel free.
With my cap and gown.
She's pretty fired up.
She gotta go to the bathroom.
She's letting her know. She said, we're going to leave her alone. She's going to drive home. Yeah.
What is your problem?
Ma'am, I just really need you to call someone
Okay, I will call someone.
because you can't drive home, okay?
Okay, why do you think I can't drive home?
I'll bring
we're
up a
working on
point later as we get further in the
Ma'am, this is
video.
your last chance to call somebody.
Okay.
Hey, do you understand that your Tesla driving, like the self-driving function, doesn't cover you for OVI?
Okay.
I just want you to understand. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay.
So can you give me my other card back? That's
I don't have your other card.
not intoxicated.
Well,
On your right side, under your jacket, if that's what you're looking for.
Nope. I'm looking for my office keys. You guys f***ed me up. Thank you.
are you going to be able to call anyone for me?
And she
No,
just
you-
keeps
are you-
escalating,
Okay.
keeps getting
I'll
more
take
and
it.
more upset.
You
And they're
would not
trying to be
take it.
All right, well,
nice.
right
They're
now you're
talking
under
calm.
I'm calling my husband. Stop.
Okay, just relax. You're under arrest.
No,
She's
I'm-
refused so many times to call for help, call her husband, call a family member, and she just keeps escalating it. And she's not going to cooperate. She just wants them to leave her alone. She has already said, "I am going to drive. You are not stopping me. You can't stop me. I am going to drive." So now, this is where it takes a different turn. They've got to put her under arrest. So worst case scenario is, well, I mean, at this point, they're not even gonna do a blood alcohol test because again, she's not driving. So they're gonna take her in for public intoxication, right? And have her just sit up and sober up at the facility and try and contact a family member that can come pick her up. Basically process and get right out. But it didn't even have to go that far. If she would have just had someone come pick her up, it would have been fine. And like the officer said, this is literally their job, trying to stop people from uh, driving intoxicated and possibly hurting someone else or themselves.
I've made my decision. You are under
I'm
arrest.
calling my husband. Calling my
Okay.
husband.
Put your
And
hands
now
on your
she's
back.
calling
I'm
her
calling my
husband.
husband.
Stop.
You have
Please
no
stop.
right to do this.
Yeah,
Stop.
so
So she
This
gets
is-
a little
I'm sorry.
cantankerous.
Stop it.
I'm really, really
upset.
sorry.
it's okay.
You're walking to this car right
No,
here.
I'm-
You're,
I'm
gonna
Go
walking-
here.
you're not walking.
Please.
Family member picking her up.
Hello.
Here.
I'm good. She's still
This is
up
her
and down,
son picking her
agitated
up.
wise. Strong.
We're gonna get into charges here.
I'll bring her out
And
to you.
how I brought up the
you're in charge.
influential
Here, take it
person
right.
thing earlier.
Thanks, sir.
Conduct due to intoxication. However, 2 months later, as part of a plea agreement, after completing community service and paying court costs, her charge was fully dropped. Shortly after this, Ellen paid a visit to
So
the
she did community service. She did a plea deal with community service where the charges dropped. I've seen this a lot lately on like histories and things, and when we run people, judges a lot of times are also the problems in the fact that when you have somebody influential, they can get stuff dropped easily. Um, Not only that, sometimes it seems there's a multitude of issues. There's not just one issue. You've got bad officers, you've got bad judges, you've got prisons that are shutting down constantly. Uh, for instance, here in Texas, we had a prison shut down, and it's created a major strain on the system to where local jails or county jails or what have you are actually getting overpopulated because they can't send their people that need to go to a state prison facility. Um, there's no room in state prison facilities anymore. And then ones that need to go to federal facilities, there's no federal facility. It's getting to the point we're just getting overcrowded, overpopulated, and we're struggling. Whether that's a funding issue or whatever, there are struggles to be had. So a lot of times it's easier for judges to drop charges and not have that person sit in a facility than it is to go through the whole process. Also, people, you know, I'm going to bring up a hot topic that is more political than it should be. Gun control, right? I'm a firm believer in the Second Amendment. Also a firm believer that some people should not have access to those type of tools. But how do you fix that? Because a lot of crimes that are committed with firearms, they're not legally owned anyway, or they're stolen. So you've got that issue to deal with. But then also, we already have to have background checks to buy firearms. That is a federally universal thing. You have to have a background check. Now, when some of these charges that are dropped that prevent you from getting firearms if they were actual convicted charges, well, now they're dropped or deferred or held or adjudicated or whatever other disposition besides convicted. It has to be a conviction for it to hold through. That's with multiple DWIs. If you're going to do like DWI second offense, you have to have a conviction of the first, right? Like you have to have a conviction. If um if an officer stops a vehicle, they find a firearm in the vehicle, and they check history, they're going to be checking for felonies. If there's no felony convictions, you could have been charged with 30 different felonies before. But unless one of those is a conviction, you can still have firearms. So that's also a lot of the issue with some of the judicial system when there's not official convictions is these people that really probably shouldn't have firearms still have access to them rather easily. Um, but that's more on a judicial system type of thing than it is like a gun control thing. Because, like I said, that you're still required background checks federally. It's just if these things are actually showing up as convictions, they would be denied for the purchase of that firearm. And like I said earlier, that's assuming that they're trying to go through a legal way to buy it, which a lot of people don't. I do agree that like people there are certain people that probably shouldn't have firearms, right? And there are people that are evil and wish to do others harm that should not have access to firearms. But they're going to get access to firearms regardless. So how do you truly handle that issue? And that's one of the curses of me being kind of a middle of the road person. Like everyone should have the right to bear arms provided they're responsible and good humans, right? But and that's my thing is like provided they're responsible and good humans, and there should be ways that we should be able to tell that and should be able to stop some of the way things happen. It's hard to get that because either you go at it from a gun control standpoint, we need a way to regulate this, or you go at it from a standpoint of, well, we just need more coverage. We need more people to be in places to help protect. Well, with the funding that we have, because you have people on both sides wanting to cut funding of police departments because, police are evil, they violate rights and whatever. And when you cut funding, it prevents some of the things that people wish they would do, whether that's station more people in different places, whether that's use different means. For instance, a lot of people are upset when officers have to use force, different means of force with like bowler wraps and stuff. I've mentioned before how a lot of municipalities and departments, it takes a long time for those things to actually roll out if they're proven effective in like certain case studies. But then not all departments can afford those or reliably get them. And then, things where it becomes like a one use device and then you've got to buy another. And man, things like this aren't cheap. Like different ways of restraint. Take for instance the wrap device. Amazing piece of equipment that officers use all the time, but they're $1,000 a pop, and that's expensive on an apartment. And then you get one that's ripped, or you've got to do like a biohazard protocol because it's covered in blood from somebody fighting so much. It's hard to get those things replaced. Again, I'm spiraling. So here she's coming up to the police department, extremely upset by how she was treated. She was treated very poorly and very aggressively, as we see, the body camera. Body cameras are definitely a blessing to good officers. Officers, all the officers I've spoke to and at my department absolutely love body cameras because it backs them up. The moment someone complains and says you did something to violate my rights, or you were racist, or you were this, or you were that, it can instantly be reviewed by them, their family members, the supervisors, the Texas Rangers if they have to come investigate. It's readily available and you have an accurate depiction of all the events because you have body camera, you have the in-car camera, you have other officers' body cameras. And you can piece it all together and get a really cute, really, really cute, really clear image of what happened. And not only that, but every time something happens in this world nowadays, the first thing people are doing is this. So you get all that information together and you have all these different angles, it's really easy to tell what happened. And like body cameras, a lot of people don't like them now because they're showing exactly how they act. They're showing exactly how the the incident went down. Now, this department, released this body cam, and she's upset. And then, there's also social media posts that were made by this individual that state how unhappy she was and that the body camera is not an actual depiction of what happened. No, it is. They turn on their body camera as soon as they make contact and turn it off as soon as they're done.
Police station
It's a
in this
separate
new,
day,
never-before-seen
separate officer.
body cam footage.
I'm Lieutenant Campbell. How can I help you?
I'm Ellen Glickman. Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
I wanted to chat with, do you know who the officers were that night?
Yes, Officer White and Officer Womack.
So what would be the best way of chatting with them?
What kind of conversation are you wanting to have with them?
Peaceful.
Yeah. I think there was errors on both sides.
Well, I'd have to disagree on that.
You do?
So,
Yeah,
yes,
that lieutenant-
absolutely.
Lieutenants like this are a blessing, where they're not trying to just appease the public. They have their officers backed up when they need to. But I would also turn around and say a really good lieutenant would also, if anything wrong did occur with those officers, he would take action. And that's, for some departments and some people that might be considered a pipe dream. But I feel like, as much as I complain about my job to my coworkers and people, in our group there, I feel like we have a really solid department that does things like that. Because, and as annoying as it is, and as much as I hate it, when something goes wrong, not necessarily even when it goes wrong, on major incidents or things that are worthy of review, they'll, I'm trying to think of one semi recent that's not going to tell too much information, but um, there's certain major incidents where they go in, and as soon as they can after the incident, whether that's just after or like the next shift that they come in, sometimes if it's major enough, they'll even come in on their day off to do what we call a debriefing, which is going over everything, giving out, hey, attaboy, you did a good job. Hey, you did a good job on this. Hey, you did a good job on that. Let's watch the whole thing through and talk about things we can do better. And they go through and talk about things you can do better, even if it's the smallest minute thing. It, like I said, it's annoying being involved in it, and I will complain about it, but at the same time, it's a good practice to have. The littlest things. Hey, Colton, you on that dispatch, you could have been a little quicker on that, or you could have done that this way. Not that I did it bad, or not that I did it improper, but hey, we noticed this. Why don't you do it differently next time? Yes, it's annoying, but it does help because you get different perspectives on different ways to try things that may make it go a little smoother next time. Just little things. Even the smallest things can help.
Okay.
They were doing their jobs and potentially could have saved your life by not letting you drive.
Well,
If you disagree with that, that's fine.
I do.
But that's not our stance. So,
And you see, now she is definitely seems like to be in a much better state. She's not slurring. She still disagrees. She's still upset. Whatever. Um, the eye drooping and the mouth drooping, like I was saying earlier, she's got a little bit to that side that's, but not as bad as it was that night, which tells me that she might have had a stroke in the past or something. Maybe that's just the way her face sits, but it does seem like when she was drinking, that side got a little more relaxed.
I was not inebriated.
okay. If that's fine.
You weren't there?
No, I was not there.
Okay, so there was a lot of, he was home with cancer and was post-op for about 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I was not intoxicated. I was sleep deprived. I had a drink. I have PTSD from y'all. My ex-husband was a cop.
Okay.
So there's a lot of stuff you didn't know. I was not given the opportunity to discuss.
Again, I don't like getting into political or touchy subjects. She mentioned, she said, I have PTSD from y'all. What did they do? We saw the whole body camera. They didn't tase you. They didn't shoot you. They didn't. I'm not victim blaming. and I'm not trying to one up trauma, but people really don't realize what all officers have to deal with and see every single day, or dispatchers or firefighters or paramedics. They just don't know. And that's the other thing, where these comments are getting a little, and they shouldn't, but they get a little more into my head and everything, is because either have one side that just hates officers and talks about, well, they're officers, they should pretty much do what they got to do, and they shouldn't be worried about their emotions. They should be worried about other people's emotions. Their emotions don't matter. And then you have the other side, which is either like ex officers or just super, I'm trying to figure out how to word this, conservative, right wing, whatever you want to call it, super macho people, where it's like, no, officers should be robots and show no emotion. That's part of their job. If they can't do it, they should just go home. Man, officers are humans. And like the crazy stuff they have to deal with involving trauma and kids and all kinds of, and then they're expected to go perfectly to 100% normal the very next minute. It's insane.
And
You were given many opportunities, and you did not take advantage of any of them.
And this is the exact way the officers were talking to her during the incident, not raising their voices, not getting upset, trying to explain everything. It's a lose-lose situation when you're an officer. It really is. You're going to lose no matter what. And that's why a lot of officers, people say, oh, well, they back up their coworkers and nobody else. Well, sometimes that's the only people they got to turn to, because everybody else is against them in one way or another. So that's just kind of how it goes. Like, you're going to lose no matter what. No matter how you deal with it, if you take a second to talk calmly and de-escalate, people are still going to be upset no matter what you do. People are going to say, oh, well, you gave them too many chances, or you didn't give them enough chances. It's too much or too little. Everybody's going to have something to say.
And from this point, it's gone through court. It's done, over with. There's no reason to have a conversation with those officers.
well, sir, I'm an academic and I like chatting and talking and revisiting things. That's who I am.
We
And
can make an appointment with your police chief.
Pardon me?
I say perhaps we can make an appointment with your chief.
If you have a seat, I'll have his secretary see when he's not available today.
Appreciate
Okay.
that very much.
No problem.
Ellen has been working at Kent State University since 1995, joining the faculty after completing her doctoral studies and previous academic and research positions. She eventually became the director of the School of Health Sciences at Kent State. On Rate My Professor, Ellen's ratings are all 1 out of 5 with high difficulty. Reviews from her students also recommend to avoid her classes, with many of them saying she strays off topic to talk about herself. She has also posted an image on social media saying most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. Advice that she seems to have forgotten during the Bodycam footage. According to local reporting from Kent Stater, after the incident in the Bodycam footage, she was removed from her administrative role as director. Kent Stater has also reported that a university spokesperson confirmed that she remains employed as a faculty member at Kent State. We reached out to Ellen for comment regarding the incident in the Bodycam footage. However, she declined to comment.
Remember, just because you're book smart doesn't mean you have.
Okay. Go check out Officer John C. Law there on Midwest Safety. He has some really great videos. We're sitting right at 40 minutes, so I think we're going to call that one pretty much good. Again, like I said, I do apologize if you enjoy this content. Just keep liking, commenting, engaging. It really does help. Engage with my other videos that I have. This will probably be it for a little while until I can get some thoughts straight and together and actually make some time to put together a better, not necessarily a script, but a better outline of what I'm going to do with these videos and how I'm going to continue. It's just been crazy lately. We are really short-handed. It's hard to get people to work in this career, in this field anymore. Which is unfortunate. Like, we always need more people. And it's been the same for any service job. I know, you guys know I've worked for the ambulance service. I've been a volunteer firefighter for a long time. Even that I've recently pretty much had to give that up almost completely. I let my fire certification lapse so that way I could focus more on dispatch things. Uh, that's something that I've had for 12, 13 years at this point, and I just let it go this past year. Um, I do feel a certain type of way about it, but I mean, it was just um, not feasible to keep it anymore. It kept getting expensive, kept getting more requirements, which is why I eventually let my medical stuff lapse as well. That it kept being more requirements and kept getting more expensive, and uh, things just the economy has been crap. We all know that it's a truth we all have to deal with. So just it's hard to balance everything, and now that we're really shorthanded, um it's going to be even harder coming up here soon with some overtime and longer shifts and things, which is fine. We do what we got to do, but it is going to make it harder to bring new content and everything. Um, Back to just how hard it is to find people in public service careers in general. Officers have been shorthanded. We've been shorthanded in dispatch. EMS has been shorthanded. I know of. Uh, Almost all of the volunteer departments in our area are hurting for people. Um, a lot of people in our volunteer departments are members of multiple departments, so they can respond pretty much wherever because there's not any membership. There's not any people wanting to do it. There's nobody nobody wants to help out anymore, and it's just I I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just the way the world is changing and people don't like helping anymore. Um, I understand people don't like officers, but if you don't, why don't you? I mean, it's a rewarding career being in public service. It's yes, you deal with a lot of really difficult and crazy people, and you deal with a lot of trauma, and you deal with a lot of things that almost nobody should have to deal with. But it is also very rewarding in the times that you do actually get to truly help people. It's just nobody wants to do that anymore. And if you have an issue with the way the public services in your area are going, or if you have an issue with the way the officers are, um, you can get grants, and a lot of departments will actually pay you while you're going through academy and everything. Go through the process, go try it out, and do put down the work and be the change that you want to see. You're either going to be the change you want to see, or you're going to get in and realize, oh, this change is not going to be easy, but when you build that experience, maybe you can help that change come in a meaningful way or help be an advocate to get those changes done, across the board. Because every area and every department's different, and you're just going to have to figure it out. And like I said, the biggest thing is be the change you want to see. If you want to change, you're either going to have to speak up about it, um, calm, cool, and collectively, or go do it yourself. And that's just it is what it is. Uh, Guys, just out in the world, be respectful to each other. There's not much of that anymore. Be nice, be kind to people. If you enjoy the content, again, please like, subscribe, follow whatever platform you may see this on. It really does help. It helps bring engagement and helps me grow. And until next time, remember, if you have to dial 911 or you have an emergency, don't forget to dial up those details. Catch you next time.